Hi there, everybody. This is Carrie Hamblen, the CEO and president of the Las Cruces Green Chamber of Commerce, coming to you again with another one of our Zoom chats. These are benefits for our member organizations and businesses to help uplift what they're doing in the community. And so many of you are doing great things in the community. And today, I am so excited that I am talking with Abeer Ghawi, somebody I've known for a very long time. She is the assistant director of Ngage, New Mexico, and my new friend, Alex Montelongo, who is the regional coordinator for the Southwest Regional Education Cooperative. That's a mouthful, but we've got something that we're talking about. We are talking about early childhood education. And there is a conference, the Foundations for Success Early Childhood Educator Conference, that's taking place in September. And you two wonderful ladies are working on this together along with a whole group of people. And so it's so lovely to see your faces. And Alex, to meet you, thank you for being here today.
Thank you so
It's
much,
nice to meet
Carrie.
you too.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Abeer, I know a lot about Engage. I've been working with you all from the beginning, but I'm going to have both of you kind of talk a little bit about your organization. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of the conference, but Abeer, tell us a little bit about Engage.
Sure, absolutely. So Engage New Mexico is a nonprofit located in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Our mission is to serve as a catalyst to advance the well-being of all people of Southern New Mexico. And we do that work through being the primary support organization for a prenatal to career education initiative called the Success Partnership in Doñana County. And we do that by transforming education, beginning prenatally all the way up to the career and workforce.
And you do a lot. I mean, we've been on the leadership circle together, and the Success Partnership. The Green Chamber is a big part of that. By the time this drops, we just had your celebrity karaoke, which helps uplift our other nonprofit business, our nonprofits in the community. So very glad about what you're doing with Engage. And so, Alex, tell me about your organization, because this is the first I've heard of you, and so I'm really excited about learning about what you do.
Yeah, so I'm with the team of coordinators. Between the five of us, we cover the whole state. We partner with the state early childhood education department. And so we strive to serve basically as like a clearinghouse of resources for our regions. And I cover the Southwest. So I have Sierra, Luna, Doñana County, Catron, Hidalgo. I might be missing one there.
That's not small. That's not a small coverage area. That's a lot.
Yeah. So I am based out of Las Cruces, so I work very closely with Engage and the Doñana County Coalition, as well as in Grant County.
That's fantastic. And that's what we find is that it's really hard to be a nonprofit organization or a community organization and work in silos. We've found that that's like really detrimental because there are so many resources that each organization brings to that little pot, and you think of it like a education soup. And that, Engage has a couple of ingredients and you all have a couple of ingredients, and then together it makes this fabulous tasting soup. I'm horrible cliches, so forgive me on that. So the resources, Alex, that you're able to bring, and Abeer, what Engage is able to bring, you've got this conference coming up, and this is, for early childhood education. We've had a lot of conversations about early childhood education in the state, and we know that it's pre-cradle to career, so it's not just starting in kindergarten. It's actually starting
right
when they're in the womb. When kids are in the womb, that we need to start focusing on looking at their path and making sure that they have as few obstacles as possible and that they are able to get all the opportunities that they can get. And so I don't know if I stole your thunder, if that was kind of the foundation for the conference, but can you tell me about the Early Childhood Educator Conference, and like what kind of started it? What started the conversation? And we know planning conferences is so fun, but it's the gratification and just the impact is incredible. So tell me about the beginning of the conference.
Sure. So I mentioned the Success Partnership. So the Success Partnership is made up of two coalitions, two networks of individuals, partners, organizations that come together to rally around this cause of education. And the oldest part of that partnership is our Early Childhood Education Coalition. And when we talk about transforming kids' lives when they're in the womb and supporting the parent that's pregnant and what that would look like, the ideas of like trying to figure out the best way to do that, or like, well, we can do workshops, we can provide resources, we can, and launch a children's museum, things like that. And one of the ideas that came about is like, how about we have a conference? The focus is on the early childhood educators, on the people who do care for those kids when they're out of the womb, or even before, when they are in the womb, from home visitors, from speech pathologists, early childhood educators in the classrooms, anybody who touches a child's life.
So even
And
daycares, right?
exactly. So
Yeah.
daycares, even teachers who are in like pre-K settings or kinder through third grade, because we all know like early childhood is 0 to 8 years old. And that Southern New Mexico lacks access to quality professional development opportunity for this really integral part of our community. And we wanted as accessibility as a big piece of the reason and motivation to kind of have a conference dedicated to this group of people who do care for our kids and making sure that they have that access. So that's part of the reason why the idea of the conference came about.
Well, Alex, what's your part in it? What's your agency's part in this conference?
So I'm helping, I'm like the bigger picture kind of person. So I'm helping with the nitty gritty this time around. But I'm here to serve more as like, when we're running into obstacles, I think about my team and what they do up north or what they do in other parts of the state, because the state varies. Everything's so different throughout the state. So just thinking outside of the box and really trying to connect the dots and making sure that there aren't any gaps in resources and whatnot.
Well, I often think whenever we look at an issue, I think of like the wheel of a bicycle. So like the issue is in the center, and then there are all these different spokes. So there's not just one solution to this, right?
Right.
But we have to look at these different things. And I know that especially during the pandemic, a lot of conversations were about daycare providers, because those folks are also educators and they are working with
Yes.
our young folks, our little ones, our little tiny ones, and helping shape into who they become. And so I'm really grateful for that recognition. And so what are some of the topics that are going to be happening at this conference? And the event takes place on the 16th, but we'll get into the details of that as we finish up today. So, but what are some of the concepts that are going to be discussed, and what can people take away as we finish up today?
Sure. So some of the breakout sessions that we're going to be having at the conference center on ACEs, adverse childhood experiences. So what is it? How can you help prevent it? How can you spot it? We'll also have several sessions that are on infant and child mental health, using play therapy as in the classroom or outside of the classroom. We also have sessions on family engagement, how to engage with parents and families of the kiddos that you're serving. Those are just a couple of highlights on the sessions. But one of the big things about this conference that makes it really unique is that this conference is bilingual. We will have sessions, sessions in Spanish only. So these are local experts. It's a homegrown conference. So that means it's local providers, local educators who are presenting and sharing their knowledge with their peers in their communities. So we will have Spanish sessions to parallel some of the English sessions, and then just some really unique ones that are just in Spanish only. So those are the highlights.
Well, given that our state constitution is that that we're a bilingual state, I think that's fabulous, because we should be, says this white girl who speaks Spanish very little. Alex, what are you looking forward to about this conference?
You know what? That's actually what I'm most excited about. I love the fact that we're honoring our culture, our heritage. I love the fact that we're bringing people together. I think that I'm amazed. The idea of being bilingual. I'm the only bilingual one on my team, which means that I support all of the Spanish speaking daycare providers in the state. Yeah. Yeah. So just bringing the community together and really all the collaboration, letting people know that there's so much collaboration going on and there's so much potential and there's so much work being done and they can be a part of it.
Yeah, I think, that's so critical. Abeer, you were talking about the ACEs, and I'm kind of wondering, what are some examples of these early childhood experiences that, that, because some people may not understand that, oh, my kid is kind of going through that. That's what's actually where this falls under, if you can talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So some examples of adverse childhood experiences are if a child is living in a home where a family member abuses alcohol or drugs. Are they houseless? That can be also one of the
Hungry.
Yes, hungry, houselessness, just uncertainty about, or if the child themselves are experiencing any kind of like domestic violence in the home, or whether it can be their parents, their family members, or they themselves are the target of that kind of violence. So those are just some examples of adverse childhood experiences.
Okay, I appreciate that, because I think it's often that when we hear like an acronym, and those who are in the area of that use those acronyms not a lot, but there are a lot of folks who may not understand that they're probably experiencing those things. And we all want to give our kids the best possible path that they can travel. Our job as adults, regardless if we're parents or not, is to make sure that the obstacles that are that could be there are removed. And so I'm really grateful for what you all are doing. Now, the registration closes. When does the registration close, Abeer?
Actually, registration is ongoing.
Okay.
So it is open until we are completely sold out.
All right.
It is ongoing. And also the cost, it was really important for our coalition and our committee to keep it very accessible. It's a $10 entrance. It's just, to have a little skin in the game. But we are also offering scholarships to folks where the $10 may be a barrier. Students can attend for free. Students, any kind of student who's interested in early childhood or just wants to come and check out a really cool conference, they can get a free ticket to attend.
Awesome. That's amazing. That gives me chills, because you don't normally see a conference that is that inexpensive. And so, and especially the bang for the buck on that, my goodness. But you do want to charge like a little bit, because then that means people are going to go. As somebody who's organized conferences, I'm so impressed and so excited about your conference. And so if you are as well, and you'd like to know more about the conference, we're going to have a link to the conference either above or below, all depending on what platform you're looking at this. Registration is ongoing. The conference takes place on September 16th here in Las Cruces. It is the Foundations for Success Early Childhood Educator Conference. And we'll have all that information for you in the text. Alex, it was lovely meeting you. I'm surprised I haven't, beforehand, but I'm sure I'll see you out and about. Abeer, as always, it's great seeing you, my friend. I don't know if I'll see you, if I'm going to see you or not soon. I hope so. But otherwise, thank you both for what you're doing in the community and what you're doing for our young people and our educators, especially when we look at educators, not just teachers, which are super important, but we know that there are a variety. Educators look all sorts of different types. So really grateful for both of you. So thank you so much. And thank you. If you'd like to know more about this, you'll see the information above or below. If you'd like to do a Zoom chat, contact me here in our private messages, and I'll go ahead and set that up. Thank you both, ladies. It's been great seeing you and great meeting you, Alex.
Yeah.
All right, bye-bye.
You too.